Have you ever wanted something so badly you could already see yourself in it, and then you didn't get it? That email, that phone call, conversation, where your stomach drops, and you think, maybe I'm not enough. Years ago, I interviewed for a job I really wanted. Assistant principal at the school that raised me. The same halls where I learned, I dreamed, and I became who I was. My kids go there, my husband went there. This wasn't just a job, it was personal. And I prepared for that interview like it was the Super Bowl. I got the new suit, the professional but approachable suit. I got new heels that made me feel like I'm gonna lay that smack down, build relationships, and look stylish while doing it. I made sure to craft a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan. I researched the initiatives. I memorized all those new acronyms. I gave very specific examples for my teaching. I made sure to talk to the teachers about the undercurrent of their culture. I wanted to make sure I understood what was needed for that school. I was prepared. I was ready. So I went into that interview, and I remember about half of the people in that room, they already knew me. They knew my personality. They knew my skills, which sometimes makes it a little even more awkward in the interview. And they asked me a question that I didn't have a polished answer ready. Oh, I'm not pointing at you, but you can change that one. And a question caught me off guard. And so I just went for my heart. And I talked about students and the teachers and building relationships and trust. Because those are the things that mattered most to me. It was for sure my most authentic response. You could feel the passion. And I remember the people who knew me, they just kind of gave me that smile, like, that a girl, there she is. There she finally is coming out. And they were just, you could feel the pride in the room. So I left the interview, and I remember thinking, this might be it. This might be the time that I get to lead a school, have a greater impact than just my classroom, build relationships with families on a greater level. I waited for the call, but that call never came, and I did not get that position. My next step was to ask for feedback. Oh, go back to that one really quick. I also handed them a jump drive. That's right, that's the time this was. This was like a big deal. I had extra resources to showcase my skills, and I handed that out to each person before I left. Okay, now we can go to the next one. So I emailed the interview team when I did not get the position. And I said, can you please, thank you for the opportunity, but can you please give me some feedback on how I can improve? And if you've ever written one of those emails, you either don't get a response, or you get a response and it is generic. So I hadn't gotten one. And to my surprise, a few weeks later, I get a call into my classroom. Mrs. Bowers, the superintendent is here to see you. Uh-oh. I was thinking, I might be getting fired. Is it maybe they found my teacher Instagram? What about those TikToks I did in class? I don't know, maybe it's my flexible seating or BYOD, I'm not sure. So I took a deep breath and I walked into my principal's office, which she kicked him out of, and my superintendent and assistant superintendent are sitting there. Thank you. And she says to me, Amber, why am I here again? Didn't you email me or something? I said, yeah, you didn't have to come in for that. What is it? Why do you want this job? Is it the status? Is it the money? That's what she thinks. I'm in this for the paycheck? I mean, admin is slightly more money. It is significantly less summer. So I'm not sure what she was thinking. And then the question came that changed everything. She said, let me put it a different way. Have you ever been to a 5-star restaurant? I was a little confused. I hesitated. And then confidently I said, yes, I have been to a 5-star restaurant. She goes, good. Have you ever been to a diner? She proceeded to say, you know, the 5-star restaurant and the diner, they both have similar items on the menu. Maybe like certifications or degrees. But their presentation is just different. Did she just call me the diner? Angry is an understatement. I didn't get the 5-star or the small town diner charm from this comment. What I got was dirty, greasy, not the leader they wanted, not the 5-star choice. Before I left that meeting, I was angry, obviously. And I'm not the kind of angry where I slam doors, but I was the kind of angry where I looked at her and I said, thank you for your feedback. I waited until I got back to my classroom to cry. And then I went to my work bestie's classroom beside me, and I did the, she said this, and then she said that, and then she said this. I did that cry. But underneath all that anger was something else. Embarrassment. Self-doubt. Maybe I am too much. Maybe I'm just not good enough. It felt heavy. It felt like something I had to carry. And whether I liked it or not, I had a choice in what I did with that. Because being angry about it, it doesn't really help. Now, this speech helps a little. Do I need to be less energetic? Do I need to be more refined? Do I need to be less me? Here's what I realized. I love diners. I love them. They're affordable. They're inclusive. You come as you are to the diner. There's endless coffee. I can get breakfast all day long. And the best diners, you feel like you belong the moment you walk in. And you're greeted with a smile. Diners are not failing at being 5-star restaurants. They're succeeding at being diners. They know who they are. They know who they serve, and they don't apologize for it. The best diners, they're not remembered for the presentation. They're remembered because of how people feel when they walk through the door. And maybe that's the balance so many of us here are trying to find. How do we become better? It's like you know. Without becoming someone else. Maybe it's understanding what you already bring to the table. Stop being what they want and be who you already are. So I started becoming fully more who I already was. I applied outside my district. I became an assistant principal, a professor. I built an LLC, a strong marriage. I'm raising 2 incredible kids. And somewhere along the way, I stopped asking, am I enough? And I started asking, how can I make people feel valued? I don't want anybody to feel the way that she made me feel in that room. Because I lost my confidence. That's the one thing I have. And I just felt so low because of that. So how do I make people feel seen? How do I connect with them? And eventually, those questions, they led me here, to this stage, with all of you. Because the moments that I'm most proud of, they're not the ones on the resume. They're the ones that I carry with me. The moments that remind me what success actually is. The moments when a teacher told me, oh, this one. Yeah, here's my assistant principal shirt. Next one. A teacher told me, you held me above water. She said, Amber, when the wind in my sails was wavering, you were the wind that kept me moving. She also said, you leave a little amber glitter wherever you go. And just like real glitter, you'll never really leave us. I think Missy has some glitter that she wanted. So that became the goal. Not being the most polished person in the room, leaving a little glitter wherever I go. Impact, connection. Every single one of us in this room, we have the ability to leave someone a little better than how we found them. Not through something extraordinary, but through something human. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's just an encouraging word. Maybe it's a moment when someone feels finally seen. You just ask how they're doing and actually mean it. When people feel seen, they show up differently. Maybe it's someone speaking up who normally wouldn't. Maybe it's somebody trying something when they normally wouldn't because they're scared of failing. Maybe it's a colleague coming into work the next day a little bit more confident than the day before, with a little bit more courage. Maybe they have a little bit more belief in themselves. That's impact. It's not what you say. It's how people feel after you leave. So I've noticed that I don't really fit the mold. The mold holds you in. I don't like that. So I tend to stand out. You know the duck analogy? So here's the ducks, and on the top of the water, they just look so polished and peaceful. But then underneath, their little feet are moving like a mile a minute. And that's how most people are. Most people are showing you this polished, refined version of themselves. That's not really me. I'm kind of more like my dog, Stella. And you meet her, and you're going to notice her energy, her excitement, her enthusiasm, and most of all, her joy. It's visible. When people first meet Stella, she's literally running up to them, to every person, trying to greet them in the room. But the people that know her best know that's just how she shows up. That's how she first shows up. That's not who she is. Underneath, she's steady, and she's safe, and she's loyal. And she always shows up exactly how she is. And And I love that. And that's how I am. Yeah, people notice my energy, but underneath all that glitter, they're the things that have always been there. The things that guide my decisions. The things that make me, me. My values. So, for the next 30 seconds, once my man over here turns it on, not yet, you are just going to write down. I would love for you to write it down. You don't have to share, but if you're willing to share, great. What are the top 2 values that guide your decisions when no one is watching? So go ahead, take 30 seconds. Now that was kind of fast. Is anybody willing to share? Maybe we'll take like 3 people, what their values are. Thank you. We're going to give Emily a workout.
Sorry, Emily. My 2 values are definitely loyalty. I always joke and say I'm loyal to a fault. And joy. So whenever I can find joy in the small moments, I'll do it.
Awesome, thank you. Give her a round of applause. Thank you. Someone else?
I would say that my top 2 are service. I always want to do better for others. And I think my other one would be curiosity. I always want to learn.
Awesome, thank you. One more.
I would say my 2 are service. I'm always the person that wants to jump in and help everybody and take care of everybody. And 2 would be joy. I like to make everyone smile.
Awesome, thank you. Those values that you just wrote down and that everybody shared, you notice that they weren't all the same. So success doesn't look the same for all of us because our values aren't all the same. One of mine is curiosity. I've been curious as long as I can remember. I was that kid who went, why? And then they answered the question and I went, cool, but why? And then they'd answer that and I'd find one more layer and I'd go, oh, okay, but just one more, but why is that? To be fair, I realize that can be pretty annoying. But over time, I realized it's a strength of mine. Because being curious doesn't mean I have all the answers. It means I care enough to understand. When a student shuts down, I wonder why. And when a colleague resists change, I wonder why. And when someone says that they're frustrated, I wonder what's underneath it. Because the first answer is rarely the whole story, and people are rarely as simple as they first appear. We can't control all the challenges that come our way. I wish we could. But we can control how we respond. In fact, there's 3 lessons that I carry with me. First, fail forward. What felt like failure, it became fuel. Because growth doesn't begin when everything goes right. Growth begins when you stay open even when it doesn't. It's not if we're gonna fail. We're all gonna fail. It's what do we do next? Second, be real. This sounds so easy, but it's not. It's a practice. So Brene Brown has this quote. I love some Brene. She says, authenticity is not something we have or don't have. It's a practice, a conscious choice of how we want to live. Authenticity is a collection of choices, and you have to make them every single day. It's about the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, and the choice to let your true selves be seen. And third, my favorite one, you gotta bring that vibe. Your energy is contagious. All of you in here know this from this week. The energy that you feel when you walk into the room, be that person. Be the person who makes it a little bit lighter. Be the person who brings a little joy. You know that feeling when you walk into your favorite sports arena? I imagine the Penn State whiteout game. Gives me chills just watching it now. The lights, the music, the crowd. And before you even get to that stadium, there's a tailgate. And at the tailgate, there's food, and there's music, and there's laughter, and strangers are becoming friends. That's culture. It's not built in those big moments. It's built in the small ones even before the game begins. And yes, you need to feel your feelings. But remember, sometimes our brains overreact. Rejection can feel life-threatening, even if you're just sitting in an office, trying not to cry in front of your superintendent. Oh. There's this quote from Adam Grant. It stopped me in my tracks. The things that make your blood boil, maybe like being called the diner, it reveals what matters most to you. Isn't that true? The things that hurt us the most, that's what reveals our values. And maybe that's why the diner conversation hurt so much. Not because she questioned my ability, but because she questioned something that mattered deeply to me, the way that I connect with people, the way that I show up, who I am. Time, it gave me perspective. She wasn't wrong about what she saw. She just saw it differently than I did. I don't want to try to be something I was never meant to be. My style is special. Being authentic matters way more to me than any title. I know what I bring to the table. My hope is that you leave here today remembering and knowing what you bring to yours. And yeah, maybe I am the diner. Because diners, they don't serve perfection, but it serves people. Thank you. During this jam, you can scan the QR code, and I have 2 questions for feedback. This is the first time I ever spoke, so I appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great day.